Let's go ahead and get started. This is an official meeting of the Livingston Council, but we're meeting as the Board of Review. This is required by law Thursday, September 19th, 2024. It's 5 o'clock p.m. here at the Livingston Parish Governmental Building. This is to hear the protest of the valuation of assessments for 2024 as fixed by the Louisiana Tax Commission and the assessor of the parish, Mr. Jeff Taylor. The first item on the agenda would be to call roll, Miss Sandy, to make sure we have a quorum here tonight.
Mr. Watts? Mr. Goff? Here. Mr. Mangus?
Here.
Mr. Wascom?
Here.
Ms. Sandifer? Here. Mr. Erdy?
Here.
Mr. Shavers?
Here.
Mr. Coates?
Here.
Mr. Taylor?
Here.
All present.
All right, fantastic. Just a friendly reminder to the council members, if you would, we're going to try it again to turn your mics off when you're not speaking, and then if you would, slap the red button to speak, and then turn it off when you finish. Item 4 is the certification of the 2024 assessment list. Mr. Jeff Taylor has, I believe, put this together, and I'm just going to ask Mr. Taylor, you want to come to the microphone and tell us a little bit about this assessment, and then if you would finish up by what you actually need from this Board of Review.
Okay, I will. Am I on? I can't hear myself.
No, but everybody else can. You're good to go.
Okay.
Hey, Jeff,
right.
if that red light is there, you're good to go.
Okay, I'm good to go. All right, everybody should have in their packet this paper from the assessor's office. Y'all got it? Okay, what this is y'all's first year that I've had to do a review. I think John and Aaron both have had this before. Some of y'all may have been in some of the meetings and we did it, but this is our board review. This is where we bring our numbers, and we went through our open book period from August the 15th through the 29th, and we did have a company that come in and wanted to appeal, and once we worked with them, they understood that our numbers were correct. They didn't want to give us the information at first. So we had to do a process we call a cost approach, and so some of the surrounding parishes around us had him at about 1/4 of what ours was, and so I told him, I said, I'm not moving because our numbers are right. If you send me your information about what your income was on that building, then I can do an income approach for you, which is going to be lower because you have vacancy figured in there. So he finally agreed to do that, and he said, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm lucky with all the other parishes. And I said, that's absolutely correct, but our numbers are right, and I'm not willing to change them below. If our people are having to go with 40% increases in their assessments, then the businesses do too. So he pulled his protest.
All right, so what do you need from the board? You need a resolution?
Well, no, what I'm going to do is we're going to go over these right quick. If y'all go, I'm going to go down them real quick. Our real property, for the first time, we're actually over $1 billion of value for our parish. We're pretty happy about that. In 2024, we have a total value of $1,208 million. That's a difference of $250 million from last year. Our homesteads are now $283 million. Last year there was $271 million. So it gives you about $11 million increase in our homesteads. But our taxable value went from $686 million to $925 million. So that has a lot to do with flood reductions falling off. That has to do with the COVID reduction falling off. And it has, quite frankly, to do with the fact that values in our parish have just went up. We're the fastest growing parish, and our values have just went through the roof. And so that is going to account for it. Our real property, you see those numbers there. We were at $811 million last year. We're at $1.053 billion this year. Difference of $242 million. Personal property went up about $4 million, $4.5 million. And I want y'all to pay close attention to the next one, the public service. Everybody there? Public service is not done by our office. Public service is done by the tax commission. Okay? And the tax commission says that we went up $250 million on our values in our parish. about 40%, okay? But the public service that's done by the tax commission went up $2,941,000. That's all your AT&Ts, that's all your Cox, that's all your towers, that's all of the stuff that's public service, railroads and everything. How many of y'all think that they probably should have been paying their fair share if everybody else is having to pay theirs? So we're going to be looking into this. We've got several assessors that are asking questions as to why the tax commission did not put a little bit more value in there. We think they should. They said that their depreciation was just that much. But the truth of the matter is, if everybody else went up 40%, you can't tell me they only went up 4%. So we're going to be looking into that more, because every bit that we don't get is money out of y'all's pocket. And I know y'all rolling in the dough over here at the parish council. I've probably heard from 4 or 5 of y'all in the last week talking about all the excess money that y'all have over here, that y'all just have too much money. Yeah. Truth of the matter is, you don't have any money. And so everybody that's not paying their fair share, they're not paying for the services that are being provided. And our job, our guys here, our job is to make sure that the assessments are fair. Have nothing to do with the taxes. I don't care what the taxes are. I care only about your assessments. If your assessments are right, my job is done. And what y'all got to do at 6 o'clock, 6:05 or whatever, you got to vote on what you're going to do with your millages. That's your job. It's not our job over there. So, but if you're having to do it and you're having to really make tough choices about services you're going to provide, then tell me how some of these bigger companies and everything are getting off with a 4% increase when everybody else around them is 40%. So I make a pledge to you, this next year we're going to be looking at that. We're going to be working on that to see what the heck's going on.
Go ahead, Mr. Mangus.
You said that was done by...
The right button, the other button.
You said that was done by the tax commission for
Yes.
public service. Can you enlighten us into who the tax
I'm
commission
not
is?
staying. I'm not doing this no more.
Can you enlighten us and tell us who the tax commission is?
The tax commission is appointed by the governor, and they've had a complete turnover this year, obviously because Governor Landry is in there, and this tax commission is actually going to be really good. They are going to be really, really, really good. They're willing to work with us on this issue. It's the former, all the numbers that you got this year were basically set in place by the last tax commission. And we had some real rows with that tax commission, because one of the things that they would say is, you know, you really don't want to do that because it's hurting business. Look, I'm as conservative as they come, but you need to pay your fair share. That's all we're asking you to do. You cannot take and say that this guy over here has got to pay this much, but oh, we like you a little bit more, so I'm not going to charge you as much. That's not fair. Our job is to make assessments fair and equitable. Fair and equitable. And as long as we do that, there's going to still be people that's going to complain and do all their stuff. But as long as we do that, I can stand on it. I cannot stand on things to where you're treated one way and you're treated one way. I cannot stand on that, because I don't have a leg to stand on when I do that. But as long as I'm fair and I'm treated everybody fair, we're all going to be fine. So I'm telling y'all, as my counsel, I am going to start working on this with the public service. There's 5 members of the tax commission. They're all been appointed this year. And I'm telling you, we've got a great tax commission. I'm excited about it. Been in here a while, and this is the first time I've really, really been excited about a tax commission. They're coming in, they're going to be fine. And so they're willing to work with us. But those 5 members send out the work to the people that work for the tax commission, and you've got a director, and you've got an under director, and you've got the field people, and so they're the ones that do all the work. And so they're going to bring it back, and so we're going to start looking at it real closely, probably somewhere around January. It won't be now, because obviously tax notices are going to be going out at the end of the year, and no one's going to really want to be messing with that. But about January, we're going to really kick that in. Okay?
Who appoints the tax commissioners?
He has
on.
it's on.
I was asking, who appoints the 5 commissioners, tax commissioners?
The governor.
Okay, I didn't hear you
And
say
he's
that.
he's done a wonderful job this year. He got input from the assessors, he got input from the business community, and he got input from the citizens. And he has done a fine job of appointing those 5. They're appointed from the 5 areas around the state, so that way you don't have one area that has them all. So they're appointed all over, and so he's done just an outstanding job. And we met them back, Tim, when was that? We had the open house. March, somewhere there, we was able to meet all of them. At one time, they came over to our open house, and each one of us, told us, we're there for you as an assessor. We want to back you up. Because look, guys, we can sit here and talk about it all we want, but making sure when you're dealing with people's assessments, you're dealing with their money, they don't like you a whole lot. It's just the way it is. Y'all run into that a little bit. But these guys said, we're going to back you up. As long as you do your job and make it fair and equitable, we're going to be there to back you up. If you don't do it that way, we're going to be there to make sure that it is done that way. And that's all we can ask for. All I can ask for is if you give me a chance to get it right and I get it right, you back me up. If I don't get it right, then come in and take care of business. Okay?
I believe we have 2 resolutions.
You do?
Can we go ahead and read those, Ms. Sandy? And then if someone else has any questions, Jeff, if you would, go ahead. Turn your mic on.
The first one's going to be for the certification of the 2024 assessment list, and it reads as follows. Be it resolved that the Livingston Parish Council, meeting as the Board of Review, does hereby formally accept the certification of the 2024 assessment list of the valuation of the assessments as submitted by the assessor of the Parish of Livingston for the tax year 2024.
Is there a motion by this council, Mr. Mangus? Is there a second by Mr. Lonnie Watts? Any discussion? Ms. Sandy, you want to call for the vote?
Mr. Wascom?
Yes.
Mr. Goff?
Yes.
Mr. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Watts?
Yes.
Mr. Erdy?
Yes.
Mr. Mangus?
Yes.
Mr. Shavers?
Yes.
Ms. Sandifer?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor? The second
Yes.
resolution will be on the valuation of assessments as fixed, and it reads as follows. Be it resolved that the Livingston Parish Council, meeting as the Board of Review, does hereby sustain the valuation of the assessments as fixed by the Louisiana Tax Commission and the assessor of the Parish of Livingston for the tax year 2024. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution will be forwarded to the Louisiana Tax Commission and the assessor of the Parish of Livingston, State of Louisiana.
And you'll make sure all that gets done. Is there a motion to adopt that resolution?
I'll make that
By Mr. Taylor, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Joe Erdy. Any more discussion? Ms. Sandy, you want to call for the vote?
Mr. Wascom?
Yes.
Mr. Goff?
Yes.
Mr. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Watts?
Yes.
Mr. Erdy?
Yes.
Mr. Mangus?
Yes.
Mr. Shavers?
Yes.
Ms. Sandifer?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
That motion carries. Mr. Taylor, thank you for your hard work. I know you get a lot of heat this time of year with when you start sending out those bills for people, for money, for people who have to keep their house. But, you know, I guess when at the end of the day, we kind of enjoy some of the public services and the things that we do around the parish. And I know it's a lot of work, and I know you take a lot of heat, but I think the key thing is you just want to be fair.
Just
And
be fair.
I think
I'm
that's
going
the
to
key
correct you
thing,
on
yeah.
one thing. We don't send out the bills. All we
Oh,
do-
that's right. The sheriff.
The sheriff
That's
sends those
right.
out.
The sheriff.
and
You
he's
just do
not-
the
But
assessing.
the
I'm
sheriff is
sorry.
not doing anything.
But it's got your
other
name
than-
on that bill, don't it?
Nope, it does not. My name is not on the bill anywhere. But the sheriff is only doing what the law tells him he
Yeah,
has to
right.
do also.
That's right.
So we've all got a job. Y'all got a job to do as the council, and we've got a job to do. And so as long as we're all working together and trying to make things better for the parish,
I stand corrected.
that's where we are. That's
do-
okay.
You do
Look,
not send out the bills. The
I had my
sheriff's
own
office is the one. I get
person
plenty of
today
them.
that with communications and everything, and he called me. He said something about me with raising the taxes. And I said, man, if I can't even get my own communication guy to understand it, I sure can't get everybody else to understand
Oh,
it.
okay.
So, no, all is good. And I thank y'all so much for the work that y'all put in. But if I can have a little point of time here, I want to introduce a couple people, if you're okay
Sure.
with it.
Yeah.
Okay?
I think we got 3 or 4 minutes left. Go
Okay.
ahead.
I've got some people here with me tonight, and I'm going to have them stand as I call. Tim McMasters is my chief deputy for the assessor's office. A lot of times,
McMasters?
yep.
Is that son of Dan?
Yes, the son of Brother Dan.
Son of Dan.
That's right.
All right.
That's it. That's Danny's right. So a lot of times Tim is there to take care of things. So if you need and you can't get a hold of me, reach out to him, get his cell number. That we have our cell number. We give them out to you. So we want you to be able to do that. The next one I have is Bubba Crowder. Over here, Bubba is the commercial supervisor. He does all the commercial business in the parish. He's the one that's responsible for all that and making sure that when we do get an appeal, and I've got to actually tell you how good it was that the guy told me on his appeal, he said, I know your numbers are right. I'm just calling because usually when we call the assessor, he automatically lowers the assessment because he doesn't want to go through appeal. He said, so I knew your numbers were right before I even called. So that's him that took care of that. So he's done a great job. Right. Next, I have David Alford. David is my mapping coordinator. Some of y'all have come over to our office and y'all see, look, you're not going to find one any better. When I called him during, I was at conference, and I called him. I said, I need this, this, and this. And I called you on a Wednesday night. And I was having dinner with some other assessors. And by the time I got to him the next day, he already had it done. He had stayed there and took care of it and put all this stuff on. And our map is one of the better ones that you're going to find, not just in the state, in the country. And the one thing about that map is that map belongs to y'all. It is housed in my office, but I gave it to the parish about 12 years ago when we started that mapping deal. So if y'all ever need it, our map is always open, and David offers the guy you're going to need to do it. The next one is the newest member of our leadership. His name is Trey Milton. Trey Milton is a young man that has come a long way, but he went out and got his PIC, his pilot in charge. So our drone program that we started earlier this year, Trey will be heading up that drone program. And when the storm hit the other day, I sent a text message to Sheriff Art and President Delat, and I said, where do you need us? We don't want to get in anybody's way because we're not essential, but we would like to document damage for our assessments. That way when people start calling, we will be able to show. He and Katie went out and started shooting that video, and we've got some really, really nice video that's going to show some of the damage in our parish, and we couldn't have done that even last year. So Trey is going to be heading up that program. So that's my guys, that's some of my leadership, and we just wanted to introduce them to you tonight. So thank you again for what y'all do, and if y'all have any questions, we're going to hang around for a few minutes just in case, but I would encourage y'all to at least write down their phone numbers. So that way, you know, if you want a drone deal, you've got Trey. If you want commercial, you got Bubba. If you want mapping, you got David. And if you just want to talk to somebody, you got me and Tim. Okay? So we're going to be around here, so just let us know.
Ms. Sandy, thank you so much, Jeff. Is there, Mr. Mr. Mayor?
If I could say one thing, point of correction, not far be it from me to ever correct the assessor, but you said that none of those letters from the sheriff had your name on them. You're not saying that you're not getting taxed, right? There has to be one with your name on it.
Okay, 3 of them have my name on it. Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that.
You're
Mr.
a
Mangus.
teacher, aren't you? You catch those little things. Yeah, 3 of them have my name on
completely
it.
wrong. Yeah.
That's sneaky.
Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion by Ms. Sandifer to adjourn. Is there a second by Mr. Lonnie Watts? Any discussion more? None being, all in favor say yes. Yes. Any opposed? That motion carries. This meeting is adjourned.